And as you can see, I've got my pyjamas on underneath. That's how I through the whole of Start Now Finish Fast, I had my pyjamas on underneath the table.
Yeah. Oh, that's good, mate. You can be relaxed. May as well be comfortable, huh?
Exactly. So yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going really good, mate. I'm loving life at the minute.
That's good.
Yeah, I've been going well with work, and also the productions are coming out fast now, so that's what's probably really making me happy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Excellent. So, I mean, I suppose we might as well just sort of go into it.
Yeah.
Did I send you like any questions or anything, or did I?
Yeah, you did. I had a look over them when you sent them, but yeah. I'll answer them as they
we'll
come.
We'll just go. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I just wanted to make sure you kind of had a vague idea of what was going on. Right. So, the way I usually start this is by starting it, which is kind of weird when we're already talking. But anyway.
Yeah. We'll just...
Right. So, hello, Ollie.
Mike, how's it going?
Really well, really well. Thanks for doing this. It's always good to actually speak to one of the people who've been through the programme. And just so everyone knows, I haven't spoken to you about this interview before, so I don't know what you're going to say at all. I get the impression you had a good experience of the programme, but this is going to be news to me as much as it is to everyone watching it. So I guess the first question to ask is, you know, a bit of background about yourself, where you were at with your music, you know, when you first sort of came across my stuff and everything, and what was going on for you. Yeah.
Well, I've been producing now probably for about 4 or 5 years, and when I started, I would have sort of got the ideas together on Ableton. That's what I use, and then I would have took them to an engineer.
Right.
And I would have got them to sort of finish everything off, and that was working. That was great. I really wanted to do it myself, you know, like, and be a producer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a few releases out. It was a good couple of years, and then I moved to Australia. I'm down in Melbourne, and I thought, right, this is it. Whenever I get over here, I don't know the engineers. I'm gonna have to jump in and get this done myself. So yeah, I was excited and ready for it, but yeah, I kept putting it off and was waiting on my stuff coming out, and then yeah, I started to get into making tracks, and a year went past, and I managed to finish one track.
Right.
And I think I was procrastinating a lot of the time, and I had this belief maybe that I needed these engineers, and I couldn't do it myself. But because I was spending the hours in the studio, you know, like people were going, oh well, what have you got? Have you got anything ready? How's that tune coming on? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working on it. But there was nothing coming out. So as I say, a year kind of went past, and then yeah, I found your some of your videos. A friend of mine introduced me to them, and something else that I also love is personal development, and I've been working at that since about 2009, and just listening to what you had to say, just kind of blended the two of them together, and I was like, right, this is it. I need to be watching this, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, and I mean the idea of blending that kind of personal development thing with music production is, I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me, more so than teaching somebody how to, I don't know, compress a bass line or anything. I think it's because I never learned that. I mean, I just did it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things you just kind of do, or you can just do. Yeah, whereas the other stuff it's more, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff out there which can help music producers, but which music producers tend not to learn, basically, or know about.
I suppose even me, like I heard a lot of this stuff before, you know, and from different teachers and whatnot, and I've been using it in every other area of my life and getting great results from it. But yet I'm in the studio, and just as you said there, I was always trying to think, no, I need new monitors, or I have to start using Logic. Ableton's not working out, or you know, something like that there, or sample packs isn't right, or, you know, I was never really just letting it go and just trying to get something finished myself.
That's it. Funnily enough, I got an email today from a guy in Australia who's actually doing the Ableton certification right now. Yeah. In fact, I think I got 2 emails, similar emails, so I can't actually remember whether it was the guy doing the Ableton certification or somebody who is an Ableton tutor. But anyway, one of them said, in my experience, the problem most music producers who I teach have isn't the technical stuff. It's all of the stuff that you do, basically. That's wrong. And I was like, well, that's quite weird that you should say that. given you're an Ableton tutor. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, even Ableton tutors are saying it. So it's just be interested to know actually, because I didn't know, you know, as I've said, I don't know very much about your specific situation. So what releases did you have out that you did with engineers?
Well, I had about 3 EPs out. The first one I released, it was the first track the first EP I released on a label, and that was in 2010. Mad Hatter, it was a Manchester label, and I was fortunate that it went to #1 and the Track It Down, so I was just overwhelmed with how well it had done. But obviously then it was like, right, okay, the next stage is Beatport and etc. And then I was trying to get up the ladder and find new or bigger labels that was going to promote music. And yeah, so I'd probably done 3 major EPs and a few remixes, but none of these tracks that I had actually started and finished on my own. And just at the stage where it needed mastered, you know, there was always an extra production that I'd done in the studio to give it. I was always like, you know, the sub bass or whatever.
I mean, it's really interesting that you said that you started by having working with engineers. I often find when I talk to people is that the first thing that they do and get some success with, it's actually can be quite difficult to break out of that way of doing things, because you don't want to. It's like you don't want to mess with the formula.
Well, that's,
you know what I mean?
I were there to the 2 major sort of engineers I was working with. I tried to do it, and then I just thought, nah, because it was always comparing my stuff to what I'd done with them, and just thought, hold on a minute, these guys have got 30 years experience, like it's crazy for me not to go. And you know, I have to say I did learn an awful lot from that time.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. I mean, one of the best ways to learn is if you do have the opportunity to work with someone who has a lot of experience actually with them, rather than watching them talk at you, or you know. So where are you? So that way you basically you got those EPs out, and then you came to Australia, and it had been a year and you hadn't finished anything. Is that right?
Yeah, I had 1 track I had finished.
Right, excellent.
I actually got to the stage where I still didn't believe whenever I had it finished that it was good enough, so I found another engineer here in Melbourne.
Right.
And I hung it up there, and he was like, yeah, well, there's not much to do here really, and I got a bit of inspiration from that too. But another maybe 4 or 5 months passed, and you know, I was trying to think that I needed to work on a specific sound, and every time I worked on a project, I was comparing it to another track, like a reference track, and it wasn't sounding like it. So then I was sort of giving up, you know, rather than just, as you say, like get it finished. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing now. Each track I get finished now, I'm looking at it and going, okay, and I'm learning, and each track seems to be getting better.
That's it. So, yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, so where are you now? What are you doing now? What's the kind of what's going on for you with your music?
Yeah, I'm getting tracks finished. So, and I'm happy with the sound that's coming off them. Just after I started your course, I got a remix to do for a label here in Melbourne, and finished it in the first 2 weeks. I got great feedback. It was something slightly different than what I had been trying to make, and I've kind of went with that sound ever since, and I'm enjoying it.
Excellent.
I also finished another original track another week or so after that. I then actually had a trip back to Europe for about a month. There wasn't much happened there, and then when I came back, it's been consistent. I've finished about another eight tracks and 1 more remix since.
Fantastic! Oh wow, yeah. Brilliant.
And the last remix, which I just finished a week ago, I feel is the best I've done yet. And judging by the feedback I've had, so it's interesting because out of all them tracks, the originals are good and I like them, but I found it so much easier to do the remixes. Yeah, it can be because you've got a starting point, haven't you? There's less decisions.
I mean, one of the things that I think people struggle with is this idea that finishing lots of music is in some way not caring enough about the music.
Yeah.
What do you say to people who have that kind of belief? It's like, well, you're just focusing on so much quality all the time is just, it's not, so it's so much quantity all the time. It's just like, you're not being careful enough. You don't care about your music enough and all that kind of stuff. So what do you say to people like that?
No, I think you learn from everything that you do, and it's the analogy you used about baking the cake. I thought was brilliant. You know, about how you can just constantly keep mixing the ingredients, and you'll always keep mixing the ingredients, but until you put that in the oven and taste the end result, then you don't know.
That's it. Yeah.
So, yeah. As I say, like and it's good just to get something finished and go look at it and listen to it and go, it's done. You finished it. Of course, a track could never be finished. You could always add to it and take away from it, but. Yeah, I think it's just I'm just seem to be working out for myself that you get what you feel sounds right, and yeah, just find an end to it and then move on.
That's it. That's it. I mean, it's I think the goal. I mean, obviously, it's important to have a goal to make the best music you possibly can, but really, I think when you look back on it, it's the journey that counts, if you know what I mean. It's that sort of ongoing journey, and if you're just trying to make that perfect track, you're never going to have that journey. You're just going to be going, you know. And one of the things is that people seem to think they have to become brilliant in writing one track, whereas actually you can become brilliant in writing lots and lots of tracks, you know what I mean? And you might look, I mean, you probably are going to look back on a lot of the tracks you wrote along the way and go, oh God, that's, you know, now with the person I am now, you know, I see what I you know, how could I have done that? But the only way of becoming that person is by actually finishing a lot of stuff.
You do. Who was it said? You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.
That's it. Yeah, and you have to finish to be great as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, I mean, what you know, this isn't just meant for people who, you know, are thinking about doing the program. I want to know from you what, even for people who aren't thinking about doing, you know, coming on the program or doing anything like that, what would you say to them? Were you like top tip or top 3 tips for you know, getting to where you are, where you're consistently finishing music, because you don't do music full time, do you?
No, I've got another my own business, which I've just actually got down to 4 days a week, so I can have that extra full day in the studio. So yeah, I would like to get that down even more. Of course, the dream is to eventually get away from that and do this full time. Yeah. So I think you just have to sacrifice time as well. You know, there's things that you have to sacrifice, because if you are busy and you're working all week, of course we all have to do that. But then what are you doing on your weekends? Are you using that time valuably? Are you staying in the studio as much as you can? And I think it's a great thing which you said about how important it is to work on it every day, even if it's just opening up the project and listening to the loop that you done yesterday. It's in your head and you're not going to forget about it, and then even if you're too tired to work on it, then you're still going to be thinking about it enough to get into it again the following day. That's it. I'm really just trying to stay strong now and, you know, get it finished, get the track finished, not rush it, but even if I can it took me just over a week to do that remix, and I had about 4 finished drafts, so I did keep going back in actually. But you know, I still thought that was good enough time, and I suppose the more time I get here in the studio, the faster that'll become. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I mean, even after learning all the stuff that you learn in a course like mine, that doesn't mean that you're always going to be like this kind of super fat. You know, it just doesn't work like that. Sometimes you're going to get stuck and you are going to go back to things, and sometimes you're sometimes not going to finish things, but you're going to do it consciously. Do you know what I mean? You're going to go, okay, this is going nowhere and I've been wasting too much time now, let's just forget about it. Or you're going to be able to go, no, I think I can go back to this and make it better. Yeah. And you can do it consciously, you know what I mean? Yeah. And if you are going down a road and you've started something and it's not working, and you really have to try as if you're really pushing yourself and trying to just let it go and get into the good mood and start something new. Because I actually started that last remix probably 3 times, and it was only whenever I got the bass line and the third time I was like, yes, this is it. Yeah, you got it now. Yeah. I'm going to finish this one. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I mean, so you've already got the daily
practice, you know, the daily practice thing, getting that thing, you know, doing it every day that you can. Obviously, sometimes you're not going to be able to. I mean, what else would you say, you know, with the really big learnings you got from that?
The distractions, the How to Focus course was brilliant, and I listened to that constantly, right. Like a lot whenever I was driving. And I actually give it to a friend of mine. So he had nothing to, she's not into producing or anything like that, but she also got really good benefits out of it.
Excellent.
So I think, anyone can learn from that, and it really just highlights the distractions that we have every day. So I've got the Messenger app now just on Facebook, so I don't have to go on and get hit with the homepage anymore. Even when I thought, like 6 months ago when I done it, and I was like, oh yeah, I've stopped Facebook, but I hadn't really. I was kidding myself because I was still sort of checking into it. So I'm kind of doing it maybe once a week now.
That's it.
I'll go in and just check my notifications, but everything's off my phone. And
I mean, that's the thing that you don't realise until someone actually tells you, is that even if you are right, say you've got, let's say email for instance. Okay, say you just check your email, but you're like, but I'm just going to check it to see if there's anything important, but I'm not actually going to do anything with it unless there's something important. The fact that you've checked it means that you have to use your brain to inhibit that information, and that wears out your prefrontal cortex very quickly. And so my approach with email or Facebook or anything like that is that once I've opened it, I have to process it, and then only then can I continue. So what I tend to do is I leave email and stuff like that until the end of the day when I'm tired anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because it's not just a case of, oh, I'll just check it and I'll only deal with it, because even though you might not actually be dealing with it, a part of your brain is stopping it from dealing with it. So you've really got to be very, very mindful and careful of your attention. Do you know what I mean? It's a very, very limited and precious resource that you've got each day. That was something that when I discovered that was, I think, the kind of thing that I really wanted to get across to people in the How to Focus course, because it's one of those things that kind of is quite life-changing. It's quite simple, but it's quite life-changing.
Yeah, it really is, where your attention goes. Yeah. And actually, you also said whenever you checked out your email, that like over 90% of it wasn't your agenda.
No.
99%.
Exactly.
I've stopped using the email, as you know. I've stopped over emails, because that's just there's nothing in there about other people's stuff.
I think one of the people I follow who's a kind of entrepreneur's coach, he says that email is just a repository for other people's to-do lists, basically. And that's like, that's the way I see it. And obviously you have to. I mean, I do this program and I get people asking me questions and stuff by email, and sometimes things go wrong, like support questions, and there's a link that's broken or something like that. So I have to deal with it every single day. But it's just a case of dealing with it when I've already done what I need to do otherwise, and also doing it in one sitting rather than constantly going back and checking it, because I find my creative state, because I have to create videos and stuff like that, is totally different just after I check my email than it was before. It's like I'm a kind of different person almost. So why don't you tell us, just to finish this up, tell us what is next for you? What have you got coming up? You said you'd finished your remix. I mean, you're DJing out quite a bit.
Yeah, I play out. I play out maybe once a month here, and at summer I was putting a lot of my energy too, which of course this is why the majority of us are here, because we want a DJ, and that's why we're producing. But now I've kind of took a sort of step back. I wasn't playing every weekend or anything like that, but I've stopped even sort of maybe looking for the gigs, because I know that if I really work hard here and put all my energy instead of like running looking for the gigs and hitting up the promoters and getting the mixes out, that extra energy is going to be valuable in the studio. And of course, if I make the tracks that are good enough, then that should follow suit.
Yeah, definitely. They'll be coming to you.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to hear your music, or anyone wants to find out more about what you're doing, where can they find you? Where do they go?
I've got a website with all my information on it there, which is www.revelod.com. revilo.com. That's my my alias.
So that's REVILOD.
Yes, it's actually Oliver in reverse.
Okay, there you go. So
lots of people will ask me that question, and I suppose it's not that obvious.
no, I think I worked it out eventually. Yeah. So well, thanks very much for doing this. It's been really useful to find out what what you got from it. I'm sure you'll keep going strength to strength. And
yeah, thank you, Mike. It's been brilliant, and I'm continuing to use your material, and yeah, I can't thank you enough for the progress that it's done for me.
Well, long may it continue. This is just the beginning.
All right.
Nice one.